What's good, y'all? So this video is going to be addiction part two. All right. Now I thought I was done with the concept, and then I just started having these insights again. So there's more to the addiction story than I illustrated in the first video. In the first video, I talked a little bit more about the surface level addictions. First off, the taboo things that society recommends people to abstain from because God created them and they don't know the reason why, so they think everybody should stay away. Those taboo things that people get addicted to. Then number two, I think, was the addiction that we find in finding external validation from other people, and somebody needs to agree with what the Most High has already spoken within the higher mind, and I'm supposed to justify what my higher mind is showing me by asking somebody else on the streets if they can agree. People be addicted looking for validations. That's another thing. Then I hit the first one we hit on that was really tangible was the food addictions, and the food addictions more so prevalent because the food industries know how to control the flavorings and the different ways in which they generate these food products, so that people keep coming back and they don't understand that their microbiome is acknowledging the habitual calling, and that's becoming a craving in the mind, but it's really starting in the guts. And that's another type of addiction that we have to be really focused and aware about, because neglecting this physical temple is the downfall of every other aspect of life, because you can have a big ass bag of money, you can be sitting on 10 million, but if you can't even sit in health with the 10 million, then you're sitting in a hospital with the 10 million, and somebody else got to utilize it, delegate it, and know where the money's going to work at. But you're not going to be able to do that because you've neglected the first investment, which is the house, the temple of God, the body, the human body. Okay. Now, with all those three levels of addictions already, people already got a lot of homework to do, and the homework start at home in the consciousness. So yes, that's a lot. You know what I'm saying? But then there's more work because the form in which distractions take right now is through technology. So here comes some more addictions, y'all. Here comes some more addictions. And before I talk about the technology related addictions, I want to speak on this from a space of my own story. I found myself having different addictions over the course of my life, and none of them have really remained or was able to hold me. Uh, I like to flow, you know what I'm saying? Um, but one thing I have to say is this: you cannot overcome your addictions by keeping them out of your radius, by keeping them out of your space, by keeping them out of your kitchen cabinet. That is not how you overcome addictions. How you overcome addictions is through discipline and strengthening divine willpower, meaning that your will is in alignment with the higher self of you, God within us. And the alignment with God's will, corresponding with the divine soul, is to bring harmony and a true balance. So it's not to actually uh, forego utilization of anything, but it's to moderate with the true awareness how much. How much is too much? You understand? And from that space, one can build the discipline to have it and to say no, to have it and to say not today, to have it and be like maybe next week when that's the right time for that. But to kind of like scapegoat or type of flee, or I don't know how to really explain it right now. Spirit, I need that a little clearer. But what I've noticed is a lot of people, maybe like they used to deal with alcohol, so they form a function with alcohol now is it's never in the house. I'm never buying it. I'm never going nowhere where they're selling it, and that's how I'm able to keep myself. Because if I smell it, or maybe I don't know. You got to be able to be stronger than your senses. You got to be able to master the senses. All right. This goes for other forms of physical pleasures that conceptualize through the senses, your eyes. People who have not been able to govern and own the land between their legs might say, "Oh my goodness, you know what I'm saying?" Because their eyes has shown them something, and because they've been shown, now they can't help themselves. You have to be able to help all of yourself, regardless of what you see, regardless of what you smell. People done smelled some food being roasted on the fire, and they just lose all their regimens and disciplines. Oh, today's a cheat day. You gonna cheat today? Well, how you do anything is how you do everything. You a cheating ass. Keep cheating then, because you can't cheat and say, "Oh, I'm just gonna have a cheat." Have a reward day if you're gonna call it anything. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how to help everybody with all of that stuff, but I do know what doesn't work because I've tried it already. And what does not work is trying to neglect the idea that you have not come into harmony with your internal cravings. Why? Because all the things that we find on a physical level, they satisfy some type of neurological, psychological, or even biological need that we actually have within our bodies. So in order to actually clear or to distance yourself from a need in a space is to provide it for yourself. So people say, well, I wanted to be relaxed, so I just bought some wine, I bought some alcohol, I bought some liquor because I just wanted to chill. Well, if you can't find chill without a bottle, then you're in the wrong store. You got to come home. You understand? And relax is at home, chill is at home, peace is at home. But if peace is not at home, that means you got other people living in your house, other thoughts, ideas, old stories, old experiences that you have to flush out so that when you come home, it is relaxed, it is chill, it is peace. That's the way in which we build discipline. We don't build discipline by abstaining from the space of neglect, as if we're not going to walk into somebody else's house and not going to have a bottle there. You know what I'm saying? And because they're pouring a bottle for themselves, we don't know how to act because we've not practiced acting in the presence of the bottle. You dig what I'm saying? This is about having power over things or having things having power over you. That's my interest. That's my business. This is my ministry. This is my space. I claim the space. Anybody else talk about it? Let me know their books and all the things so I can start reading it and strengthening my spirit. You feel me? But I'm not going to be uh, bound by the presence of some things. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's that organic green or whether it's that bottle or whether it's that booty cheek. However you see it, you should be able to control yourself from the spiritual space. That is called governance of the mind. A lot of people don't own their mind. There's a reason why they don't own the land between their legs because they don't own the land between their mind. Shout out to Mapunga J because Mapunga J got me that those three illustrations, those three lands, those three pieces of land. It's a beautiful illustration. Shout out to him. He's great. Um, but going back into the topic, right? Now that we have the understanding that it's not showing discipline in the space of addictions to just deny yourself from being in the presence of things in order to control the things. You have to be able to control the things even when they're in your presence. You understand? That's how you really have control over the way in which you think and perceive. So don't tell me that you've been sober for 2 years because you stopped drinking alcohol, but then the moment you go somewhere where everybody's drinking, you feel obligated because you're not standing on anything. You're not standing on anything. All you're standing on is the fact that you ain't had no bottles in the house. So now you feel obligated, and you also want to drink it too. So now you're drinking, and you're like, "Oh man, I haven't drunk it too." It's a whole bunch of waste of energy because energy is not really being built up. So take a good look at that because I was made sure to have shown you that because that's what I received. Now, next thing is this technology. The reason for that level of discipline is because of what we're about to see right now. What is coming up next is going to test the indisciplined. It's not really going to be a test because they've been walking a line of failing tests and they've not been passing. So they're not going to pass this one if they've not been passing. Because the way in which you can numb yourself from what you're really experiencing to tap into an alternating reality that you're not creating in the physical form is on an all-time high with this new technology coming up next. This new virtual experience, Meta, and through the Facebooks and all of this. Because I'm going to make a video on the Meta. So if y'all want to see that, it's you already know the type of time I come with. I come with God's time on things, so I'm not checking the clocks of man to tell y'all about it. Of course, I'm definitely going to need to survey the land so I can see the different aspects to it. But I'm coming with the spiritual message. But what I want people to understand is that we've already seen a large level of technology-related addictions with just the effect of social media. Just the effect of social media, people have opportunity to discontinue looking at their own lives because they're looking at Cindy, Susie, Rebecca, Judy, all of these folks, and they working out their thumbs more than they've worked out their whole body all month. They working out their thumbs more than they've worked out their whole body all month. They haven't not broke one sweat all month. But if you check the calories burned by the thumb alone, this shit done already have a six-pack on this young. You know what I'm saying? People been scrolling and scrolling, looking at everybody else's shit, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. They done hit the scroll so much, they could lift a chair with them thumbs. You understand me? Why is this? It's a dopamine addiction. There's an addiction on the technological aspect that we have to start. We have to start. How do I illustrate this, Spirit? We have to start really assuming responsibility for. We really have to assume responsibility for this. Now, I also have to add this piece. I'm not a I'm not against social media. If you would know anything about the work I do it through social media. I wouldn't be able to do much of it without social media at this point. After choosing to disconnect myself from certain places and people who are not having my highest or their own personal interests at the highest. Their personal interest being the sense of God and God's own expansionness through their lives. They had somebody else's idea about God as the interest or whatever it was. So I use social media. So I'm not saying not to use social media, but what I am saying is how are you using social media? Or are you allowing yourself to be just used by social media? Because typically people come on social media just to see what other people are doing. That is being used by social media. You swipe every 3 posts, you got a sponsored post. Why? Because social media's, at least for Instagram, their main focus is to get as many people on the platform and to keep them on the platform as long as possible. Because the more time they spend on the platform, the more posts they see on the platform. The more posts they see on the platform, the more advertisements they see on the platform. The more advertisements that are seen, the more advertisements can be shown, which means Instagram can collect more money from the people who are trying to promote. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. If you think it might go another direction, nope, it goes the same way. On TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, it goes the same. So, to leverage technology is my message, not to abstain from it, because to abstain from it is acting like it's not there. That's a form of weak discipline to me. That's it. That to me. So somebody else might be like, oh, well, I needed a 2 week break. I needed a 2 month break. I just needed to uninstall Instagram. That's cool. Some people uninstall Instagram and then complain about their jobs. But if they change their mind from a consumer to a creator, from a consumer to a producer, they could actually leverage Instagram, still stay off the phone, and appreciate the work that they're doing because they actually give a damn. However you slice it, that's your slice of bread. That is all of it. So we have to see the addictions on all the levels. You know what I'm saying? We cannot say one level and oh, this one is okay because no, all of them things work hand in hand, tandem. We have to bring the congruency with spirit and physicality. Now, to mediate the addiction of seeing other people's lives and getting excited about what other people are doing and double tapping and clicking and liking and sharing all of the things is to really learn what you're about. Because everybody on social media is looking at another person. There's no, I mean, I guess in this case now people are so distracted they look at somebody else's dog at this goddamn time in life. They'll get on social media to run up 200,000 likes on dogs. However you like. Your distractions only fit you until you realize what it means to be focused and to mitigate or to minimize distractions. I use social media to bring a message, for I am a message, so I bring myself. And the self on which I bring is different than other platforms because each platform has its own reason for being. And on this platform, the form of focus is enlightenment and expansion of one's own spiritual awareness, aka consciousness, aka Christ in man, man becoming more like God than he's ever heard because he's only hearing from within himself. But man cannot hear God and think his own thoughts at the same time. So man must quiet the mind. Here comes the scripture. Be still and know that I am God. So that's what I do. But I leverage social media to do that. I cannot do that if only my interest is getting on social media to see what everybody else is doing. Because nobody's doing what I'm doing. And if they are doing what I'm doing, I'm learning how to do it better because they're teaching me. They're not teaching the iPhone. They're not an iPhone 7 teaching the iPhone 8 just so that they can say they're superior. Every next one is better than the last one. So I expect, you know what I'm saying? I expect from this subscriber list, this is not a list of subscribers. We're walking together so that at another time, you'll be showing the path because you've walked. You understand? It's just so interesting that what's coming up next in context back with Meta is very much so spiritually reflecting the awareness of the individuals right now, knowing that they can create their own form of living. I didn't use the term reality because I feel like there's only one true reality, and that is what we're all subject to without our thinking. Why? Because there's a system that lives underneath the form in which thoughts are are even sent forward. So we only think from this system. So until we change that reality, it doesn't matter which one we create on top of it. Period. Period. I just seen 888 on there. Period. Period. And that's the reason why I'm not really speaking on that whole reality thing. But when I'm ready to speak on it, I'm gonna blow that fucker up because y'all is apparently waiting for me. Family, we have to come to a space of being disciplined in the midst of all the things that can be distractions. Because the things are not going to reduce in number. They're not. But you have to always understand that you have to afford yourself with the money you have, the time, the attention that you have. Time and attention. That's what we go and pay. That's what we go and share these people's jobs. They be like, oh, I need you to do this. Time. How long? What am I doing? Attention. Time and attention, this is what we selling to these folks. But you have to learn how to afford yourself time and attention. Because in a minute, it's only going to seem like we're fighting for space from the space of not having. We got to be able to afford ourselves. How do you afford yourself? By creating time for God. Creating time for your alignment. For creating time for your soul purpose. For creating time for your soul function. What are you here doing? What are you here to do that people cannot do without your help? You know, what are you here to share? What are you here to show? What are you here to be? Maybe the essence of joy. Maybe you're the most joyful person in your family. People hear you're supposed to be something, they feel like they got to accomplish some shit. Maybe you're just supposed to be who you are in front of them so that they can see something different. Job well done. You thought you needed to become and get a degree and do a master's. You need to have 360 degrees of your soul and speak and stand in the center of God. That's why I call educated, because you draw that information from within. That's the educo. That's the etymology of the word education. Educo, to draw out of. So you draw out from the eternal into time. You draw out from the infinite into the finite, so that other people can recognize the time. Mm. Mm. I be shocked myself. I be shocked my damn self. And I guess that's why this is fun for me. But I want to come back to social media, all right? Stay tuned for the meta video, because there's a lot of keys that people need to see before this time happens, because we have to keep ourselves reminded. We got to keep ourselves reminded. The form and the function of these distractions is so that you think there's anything else better than affording yourself. That's what these distractions are for. People be like, life is too hard, or this or this. Life is not hard at all. Once you realize that you're not the one living it, is living you. So as you align with the you that's living, you will see the living God in your own self. Not because you need to describe or call yourself. People want the noun so much they forget about what the verbs are. They want to be a baker so much, they just call themselves a baker, put a hashtag baker, hashtag infinite baker, hashtag the almighty baker. Nigga never bake a cake. You know what I'm saying? It's to draw out from seed and to produce from a seed into the fruit, so that the miracle of growth speaks on its own. It's shown in your own life. With that being said, family, prepare yourself to discipline up. Prepare yourself to discipline up, because you're going to need it, and you're not going to make it too far without discipline. Not where the world is going right now. Not with all the different distractions that we have. And I say distractions from the space that we're not looking at them as opportunities, and we're not leveraging them as opportunities. We're just looking at to see, oh, well, oh, I think I can go into the meta space and we're gonna have a party in the meta. That's some bogus shit. Why are we trying to put so much energy into a life that we're not actually physically living? That's because we're not understood on where we are currently in this lifetime. So it's more exciting to go into a fake place than to create what they call the fake in this place right now. Stay focused. Stay focused. The meta video is coming up soon. I just want to sit down with Spirit and get the clarities on how to really unroll it so that it stays online. Because that being said, whole time, I say whole time because it's a key. Whole time, be at peace now and recognize that everything you're looking for can be found. So with that being said, I love y'all. I love you for doing this work, for doing this loving on yourself into higher and higher perceptions of self, deeper and deeper realizations of truth, and acknowledgement too. Whole time, be at peace now. I'll talk to y'all. Peace.